So I've been doing my dissertation all morning. I'm pretty much there with it, which is fantastic. But the pages are annoying me. It was not lining up. Just like the editing things, which are always there. So I'm getting up. Gonna change the scenery. And also last night I went on a date, which was lovely with my husband, obviously. And also got bitten a time, so taking my trusty Anthem. And I saw this dress in a shop window that was for sale, and I like it, so I'm going to go back and try it on today. And they should be open. This bag my nanny gave me, I really like it. It's like this, and it has a shoulder strap, but it has clips, and I managed to clip it tight, so it's short, so it works while I cycle as well. So I usually don't have like nice bags. I just live my life in a rucksack because of that reason, cycling. But it's great. My loops, just in case. The restaurant we went to yesterday was quite loud, and I regretted not taking them, so I'm going to just take them whenever. Let's go.
I didn't buy the dress. Sadly, they only had a few sizes left and none of them were mine, so I had to walk away dressless. Not dressless, they didn't take the dress that I was wearing, but just new dressless. Anyway, today I thought I would talk about change, especially unexpected change. I'm going to try and talk in each of these videos just for a segment about something I guess kind of meaningful. I'm thinking that I might share some research that I've looked at and I'm interested in, or share experiences from my own life, or people that I work with as well. So we'll see, there's a bit of that in today's video. We're going to talk about change because last night my husband and I went out to a restaurant in the centre of town, which we hadn't done for a while because, I don't know, this year has just been hectic, and I could not have coped with that. And we also decided to walk through town afterwards, which again we hadn't done in a long time, up towards where we used to live during university. And so much had changed. I just hadn't expected it. It really showed how I hadn't been in that part of town for a really long time, because I found out afterwards that lots of these had changed quite a long time ago. But because in my mind it still looked like it did 3 years ago, and 5 years ago, and 7 years ago, I was just thrown by how it now looked really different. And my mind, I think, in a really visual way. So it was really quite stark, the changes to me. And I've just finished writing a dissertation based on the experiences of autistic secondary school students who I work with, and lots of them have a similar experience to this when things change, especially when they didn't expect it. But to varying degrees, they don't always know how to deal with that and how to move on from it. And partly that's because everyone has different strengths and difficulties, like we all do, and autistic people as well, of course, do. And partly it's because as we get older, actually all of us learn strategies that help us to handle the things that we find difficult, especially when we're particularly motivated to develop that part of ourselves, or we really want to engage with something that we find difficult. And so while the changes impacted my date night, in that my husband had to listen to me list off all the shops I could remember, how they used to be, and the things I liked about the old shop, and the reasons why the new shop wasn't as good, but I could still ultimately push it from the front place in my mind enough that I wasn't too upset by it. I mean, thankfully, there were more people at my house when I got home, as my housemate was hosting a book club with some mutual friends of ours. So I got to tell them all about the changes too. And then I got to come back again today to do some filming and to also feel like I could resolve that issue by going to somewhere with parts that I knew would not have changed, which you'll see later in this video when I go back to visit my college. But it would have been really easy for that to spiral into feeling out of control for me if the people that I tried to tell had not listened, or if they'd belittled me for moaning and being silly, or in any other way not allowed me to process the changes in the way that I did. So when my students have a meltdown, and sometimes they really do, they feel really emotionally invested in the changes that have happened, it's not because they're melodramatic or silly, no matter how small the change might seem to someone else. It really doesn't alter anything in my life that those shops are different, given that I so rarely go to them. But it was on my mind for 2 days, and I had to find some way that I could rest that anxiety before I could move on from it. So the fact that I wouldn't expect that from a student is ridiculous. So when my students have that experience, I try to, one, give them as much information about the change and as much explanation for the change as I can. Two, make sure they feel like them finding this difficult is a totally normal response to something that they thought would be one way and now it's actually a different way, because it is. And just because many people don't get distraught at changes doesn't mean that that's the only valid response to those kinds of experiences. And three, I try to help the student to try strategies that kind of feel right to them, strategies that they can use to rest that anxiety that comes from the unexpected change, so that they can then focus again on the things that they really want to focus on. And I just think that is like a really important mindset for anyone who works with children, young people, students, even adult colleagues at your work, who might have a different response to unexpected changes than you do. some things don't change. Look at the nest. And as much as I wish we could, I know so well that we can't just get rid of all unexpected change. And sometimes we can't even know why a certain change might have happened. Like, I don't know, presumably Costa needed to save a bit of money, and that pretty central location was just not like pulling in enough. But I'll never actually know why it closed there. Or I'll never know whether anyone else bid on the on the shop, and why in the end a shoe shop of all things got that location. But we can like check ourselves when people around us respond differently to how we would have done, and we can be accommodating and kind towards them. Like we can listen to their lists of facts about different things. We can tell them it's okay that they're feeling a bit thrown by this if they're feeling angry or upset. We can give them time to process the change and be really clear about any relevant information that we do have. We can learn to not just assume that everyone perceives the world exactly like I do. Yeah, I don't know. This talk got a bit more advocacy than I had planned. You probably get to know that I'm a very all or nothing sort of person, and I get really earnest about things. I get into things super easily. Well, either get into them or just drop them because I've decided they're unimportant. But yeah, and I also get distracted by tangents, but I will try to keep that to a minimum. Yeah, so that's kind of just what I wanted to say today. I hope it's maybe been a bit interesting for you guys, but if there's something that you'd be interested to hear about in these videos, then let me know, because I'd love to speak about stuff that someone would actually find helpful. I'll leave some social links in the description, and you can send me requests on any of them, or just in the comments below. Yeah, I guess I kind of decided that learning should be shared, both academic and experiences. So here goes. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video too.